and I am called Mpako Darios. We are a young club where we identify problems in our community and try to advocate for these problems. Our special topic is
increasing practical education in Cameroon.
Where we have noticed that Cameroon's system of education, especially the Anglophone system that we are still basing on, is more focused on the theory than the practical aspect of it. We have some level of practicality, yes, but we want to step it up so that Cameroon can become a better country tomorrow, where we are going to have more graduates who master the arts.
In this video, we are going to carry out interviews with teachers who are going to tell us their ideas about practical education in Cameroon.
In this interview also, we are going to interview some various students from different schools, and they should tell their difficulties that they face when they are carrying out practicals in their various institutions.
In addition to all of that, we hope as you are going to be watching this video, you are going to also help us to improve, to step up the practical education in Cameroon, and more importantly, you are going to contribute in a big way.
On our first interview, we are going to take on the interview with our biology teacher, going to give us more information about herself. She's going to tell us about the topic, which is practical education in Cameroon, and we're going to also have ideas on how to step up practical education in Cameroon.
We are in BGS Molyko with a teacher. Good afternoon, madam.
Good afternoon.
Madam, please, what's your name?
I'm Madam Abo Elizabeth.
Which subject do you teach?
I teach biology in the high school.
Okay, madam.
Madam, what do you say about the educational system of Cameroon?
I think the educational system of Cameroon is purely theoretical and just a bit of practical. And but they are trying to develop the competency-based approach system, which is very good, in such a way that it can help students, even those who are leaving the lower classes, to be able to have something to do when they leave school.
Madam, please, why don't you expatiate on the computer approach system, based approach system?
Okay, the competent-based approach system is a system in which theory has to go with practicals, and students have to understand a lot of the value why they are studying, and how how the theoretical part can be able to be applicable in what they do out of school.
Madam, what are the challenges you face as a teacher teaching your students in class?
I think we face quite some challenges because now we face the challenges of students not really comprehending the theory that we teach. Then more practical work, I think it will help to boost the system even in the higher levels, like in the secondary and higher levels.
Okay, madam, so what are the proposed solutions that you can give to this problem?
I think that we should help students to be more practical. Now we should relate our theory of particular subjects and topics to practice. It's good to take the students to the field and let the students study it practically to understand it, and then also to have projects. Students should be able to carry out projects practically.
So, madam, does it mean to improve this practical education in Cameroon? Who are the people involved? Is it the government, the students, the teachers?
I think everybody is involved. The parents, the students, the teachers, the government. I think everybody is involved, and it's good that all of us put all our hands on deck and see how we can develop this practical approach that we are talking about. You know, they show for handiwork, and now many parents even just give them money to buy it, and then even teachers maybe accept such money at the basic level for things that the children can produce practically. And then in the secondary school, most of the time the teachers are limited in the classroom, and so don't take the students out of class for practical studies. So I think teachers should also learn to implement that. And then field studies are very important also for the students, to carry them to various companies and areas in which they can learn a lot of production. And then the government is also involved because it can help to finance it and help to even give scholarship for students to help them in all this practical education. And then to also get equipment, let schools, the labs in many schools be re-equipped. I think that will be very good.
Okay, for an emerging Cameroon, which the government is talking about in 2035, Cameroon to be an emerging nation. How is the government? What's our own part as students to the project?
To have contribution. Yeah. Okay, I think that actually Cameroon can really be an emerging economy by 2035 if students also realize that, they need a lot of these practical applications and then develop interest in it. So students can even walk up to teachers and then bring up ideas about certain things to be done. So students should be able to be inquisitive about their future, to be inquisitive about the practical applications, to be inquisitive about that all of us are putting hand in deck to make 2035 an emerging Cameroon.
Furthermore, we are going to have another interview with the student because practical education all involves students and the teachers. So the student is going to give us an idea of what he thinks about practical education and how it can be improved in Cameroon.
Please, can you tell us your name?
I'm called Mpako. Well, at some level, at the high school level, they indulge in practical activities, but it's not so intense. And it is more of just giving students basics in practical education.
Okay, I think as a student, during your practical lessons, what are the difficulties you face?
Well, the first thing in this institution is lack of instruments. Secondly, the few instruments available are insufficient because there are so many students tied up in this school. Or that very few schools do what students require. So, it's not the best.
So, what are the difficulties you while carrying out your practicals in the lab?
When carrying out practicals in the lab, there is always commotion. Yes, students always have to share or sometimes fight for instruments to carry out practicals, and the situations surrounding the undertaking of the practicals are not the best. Sanitary conditions, an example.
Okay. What's the part of the teacher to improve this practical education and even the government, including
Part
yourself?
of the teacher. Well, everything does not lie on the teacher. The students themselves will have to work with the teacher to make the practicals be effective.
As a student, to improve practical, do you have a role to play? Take for example, the government has provided few equipments.
Yes.
Should you just break the equipments?
No. Students have to follow rules and regulations set aside for the practicals. That is the first thing. If the students are out to better their future and their education, they will have to abide by rules and principles.
Each year, we have a good number of these students who graduate. What happens? Are they employed?
You see, under normal circumstances.
Before you come in, listen.
Okay.
We have, at the same time, a dying need of roads to be constructed. We have a dying need of houses to be constructed, of bridges to be constructed. Recently, we heard of the Douala second bridge. What happened? They gave it to a foreigner. Are the graduates who graduate every day in these institutions not competent enough for this project?
Speaking of the bridge, I don't know what is in the mind of our government officials. Whenever there is any major project in the country, they call in foreigners. When they are training students in the country.
Exactly.
So it brings us to the question, do they train them to just leave them unemployed?
Okay, so we see ideally that we are not using our own trained resources.
Yes.
And coming also to the aspect of the commotion in the lab during your practicals, what do you think should be done?
Well,
what do you think should be done even with the fact of the laboratory equipment?
Laboratory equipment should be made available to students, and there should be some sort of rationing the administration should be reasonable in the way they do their things. Too many students should not be found in one class and using very, very few equipment, and they expect students to go further in their studies. No, there are so many schools around. The students should be spread. The government should build more schools.
Based on the interviews we have had with other people, we have realized that practical education is really a problem in Cameroon. We lack instruments. The government does not allocate budgets to our schools, and even the equipment which we have in schools, students always break them. So indeed, practical education is necessary. Just like America emerged because of the use of practical education. Look at Isaac Newton. They had labs in which they carried out experiments for days and years. But we lack those labs in Cameroon. So indeed, please, we are begging on our friends, we are begging on the government, we are begging on individuals, organizations to join hands with us so that we can indeed make Cameroon an emerging nation by 2035.
You're the ones watching, you're the ones who know exactly how the match is being played inside. We are begging on you people to contribute. You can only cry, but if you do not hear our cries, Cameroon, we are afraid might not reach the emerging Cameroon we are aiming in 2035. But with positive minds, we believe that you have received enough of our encouragement. You've received enough of our lessons, and we pray that you may join us in advocating practical education in Cameroon. Thanks for watching, and may you really be blessed with a lot of wisdom, a lot of ideas that will boost practical education. www.practicaleducationyan.com.
The gospel is not for Sunday morning alone. Each and every day that the Lord has made, we have to give thanks and praise to the Lord. Almighty Father, Papa never tire. Holy Papa blessing him, Lord, I give I bikini and $20. Hey, Papa never tire, make we give him the praise. I thought